Had the volume down. Sorry about that. Let's try that again. What's going on, everyone? We got a Shonen jump stream today. We got Kiyoshi. We got Ichi the Witch. We got One Piece. We got some other series. Blitz Drake and Josh in the chat. We also got Eden's in the chat. Yo, what's good, Eden's? What's going on? How's your weekend been? What's up, Ouji? What's going on, Josh? How you doing? Pleasure to have you. Good to see you. GamerChan Leanne also in the chat. Hey there. What's going on, Leanne? Pleasure to have you as always. We got the regulars. Embers' Peak. You got to read it. So what chapter is Embers? Embers is on chapter 8. I'll probably give it a couple weeks. Wait till like chapter 10 and then it. Only because I didn't hate the first few chapters, but I kind of thought they were just whatever. And I haven't seen a ton of hype for the series. Most of the people I follow aren't really... I don't really have too much to say about it. At least not that I've seen. As far as today, we have One Piece. No, wait a minute. Yeah, we do have One Piece. We got One Piece. I'm gonna read Ichi. I already read Kiyoshi before the stream, but I do want to talk about it because I've been noticing a recurring trend. After that, Agarabachi is on break, so we'll probably just do some catching up. I have some catching up to do. Most likely Witch Watch, but we'll see. Josh is taking care of his dog while my parents are out this weekend. What kind of dog do you have? I used to have a golden retriever. I'd like to get another dog. I'd like to adopt a pit bull, or if I have the money, I'd like to get like a mastiff. Any kind of big dog. How am I doing? I'm doing good. I'm enjoying a nice relaxing Sunday. How about you? Golden Doodle? Ooh, it's a nice cozy breed. Let's see. Excuse me. Alright, hopefully I had the mic kind of far away. Gotta get into Astra Royale. Yeah, I was weekly on it for a while, and then I stopped, and now I'm like, I think 10 chapters behind. So if we don't read Witch Watch, we'll probably read that today instead. This. How does that look? Okay. I was just messing with the volume for my mic. What did I miss? Oh, here we go. Wonder if the editors are rushing Boichi as we're already leaving the school. I think he had that planned from the beginning. Ooh, we got a new subscriber to the channel. Hello, welcome. Anyway. Also, in case everyone didn't see it, they recently dropped a trailer, a very short trailer for the Chainsaw Man Reze movie, and it looks gorgeous. I don't know about everybody else, but it looks awesome. Granted, it's only like 30 seconds, not even, but still. So far, my hopes are pretty high. Or my expectations are pretty high for the Reze movie. Anyway, let's start by reading Ichi the Witch. Because Ichi the Witch is in a really good spot right now. Just saw that on my chat forum. Yeah, it looks crazy. The Reze movie, obviously the arc is really, really good. But the movie itself, the adaptation, looks good visually, and just the overall vibe of the trailer felt good. I disagree about Marshall King, Jim being planned about leaving the school. Keeps talking about protecting allies, and then he spends 0 time with them. Well, Jim's kind of a, like a lone wolf, right? That's how he's introduced, so I wasn't too surprised. It is a twist. And obviously, like, we don't know what's going to happen in the next few chapters. Like, they could, there could be a time skip, to a few months, and Jim regroups with some of the characters, like Dutch and, what was her name? Abigail Black. Anyway, on to Ichi the Witch. So we're on chapter 27. Eden says, really enjoyed the Ichi chapter this week. Yeah, last week's chapter was really good. I like how they're going for sort of the One Piece route of, like, hey, we're in this new place. Here's the status quo. All right. Here's the status quo. We have this very, strict, careful society. We have our rules. Just don't break these rules and you're fine. And what do? What's the first thing they do when they get there? They break the rules, right? Dutch isn't even Dutch. What a fraud. I don't know if she's a fraud. Anyway. So, like most of the Ichi chapters, the first page of chapter 27 is sort of recapping the story we got before, where Bakugami is like, or the king of Bakugami is like, oh, Bakugami saved everyone, you can't acquire it, and if you mess with it, you'll be executed, right? And what did Ichi and Goku, what's his name? I know it's not Brutalizer, it's something else. What's the first thing they did? They kicked it in the face. Alright, so now they're gonna punch it. Everyone's freaking out. Not only did they touch it when they're not supposed to touch it, they're kicking this thing, they're hero landing on this thing, they're punching this thing. So, being set up to be the villains of the chapter is interesting. So they call on the guards, they want to arrest both of them. He says, Ichi, plug your ears. He does a fake out clap with 10% power that disorients everybody. And then we see some kind of the princess and Brutalizer share a look, implying some sort of dynamic there. Gokuraku, that's his name. I knew it was Goku something. We got another new subscriber today. Plenty of subscribers. Love to see it. Speaking of which, if you haven't checked out the new Fire Force video on Fire Force's world building and why the best way to flesh out world building is to break it down, make sure to check out that video. It dropped yesterday, and I had a lot of fun making it. Anyway, they're protecting Lord Bakugami. They're sending out guards. And of course, Vescaris and Kumagi are freaking out because, of course, Ichi is doing his thing, right? He's basically the witch version of Luffy. They told him not to do the thing. He did the thing. And now they're stuck cleaning up the mess. So the king is saying that blue-haired man is Gokuraku. He's one of our country's most wanted criminals. He's attempted to harm Lord Bakugami a number of times, and every time he somehow escapes. We have to send out a warning and have wanted posters sent out immediately. So, pretty close parallel to Luffy at this point, right? I mean, this is basically Luffy's bread and butter. Go to a place, get told not to do a thing, and then immediately do the thing. I think it's hilarious. Right, and like literally within seconds, they already have wanted posters for Gokuraku and Ichi, even though nobody knows who Ichi is. They don't know his name. And they don't know that Ichi is associated with Descarus and Kumigi. So now they're looking for them, they're going to execute them, and then of course, because Descarus has the blood vow with Ichi, if they execute Ichi, then they kill Descarus. So the magic inside the weird pig monster is theorizing who this witch is, which is of course Ichi. They broke their little altar for the world hater. If I make a bouquet out of the heads of this country's people, would that be enough? Would you be pleased with me? It won't be long now before I can see you. Then we skip to the princess, walks into her room. She has pictures of both of her parents, who, of course, the mother is dead. Gokuraku sneaks into the princess's room. Says, uh-oh, somebody's not being careful. You really ought to make sure you lock the windows. What the hell? So it seems like, so the big reveal is that Gokuraku is the younger brother of the princess. So I don't know that that would make him the king of Bakugami or what, but the implication here is that Bakugami, or at least the magic that is inside Bakugami, was the one who killed their shared mother the whole time. That is an interesting twist. So I'm really liking this arc. I like that Ichi is kind of being propped up as a villain, even though obviously he's not. I really like how Gokuraku is being fleshed out. He's a multifaceted character with a number of different priorities and values. And they're doing a really nice job of fleshing out the plot of this arc. So far, I'm like totally invested. Like, I'm in, right? It's a very different vibe from the previous arc, but I'm loving every second of it. Nice little twist there. Yeah, I thought it was awesome. I mean, obviously, you heard my reaction. Same thing happened in Shinobi Undercover this week. Huh. Yeah, I gotta get on Shinobi Undercover. I gotta read that, and I gotta read Himiten. Because every week, I feel like at least 2 or 3 times a week, I see somebody either directly to me or on Twitter recommending Himiten. Excuse me. So anyway, that was Ichi the Witch. I would say that was a solid. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Josh says, I thought that was interesting with the soft and hard world building in that video. I would say that Ichi is doing well in hard. Yeah, Ichi, not like Lord of the Rings level, but is definitely leaning more towards hard world building. Although, again, not like One Piece level or anything like that. So that was Ichi the Witch. Now I want to take a look at One Piece, and then we'll probably talk about Kiyoshi. Excuse me. So it opens with a nice color spread of all the characters racing, which is awesome. Speaking of which, they just announced that the director for season 1 of the live action One Piece show is stepping out. He's at the least not working on the next season anymore. He's like, that's it. I need to take a break. Not for any particular reason, at least that he wants to say, but he wants to move on to something else. So I don't think he said he's like definitively done, but at least for, I think they said season 2, he's like, yep, that's it. Not for me. Was either the director or the lead writer. But my point being that I feel like that's not good. Not that they can't get a new capable director, but in my experience, anytime you're in the middle of a series and you switch hands for the director, it never really turns out good. Like they did that with Star Wars, and it went from sort of okay to worse, like way worse. And then even when they went back to J.J. Abrams, it was way too late. I'm trying to think of another example. Well, I think they did that with... Oh, no. I was going to say The Witcher on Netflix, but that wasn't really what happened. Yeah, I don't know. But what's everyone's thoughts on that? Are we worried about One Piece live action? Also, we got Ready A Man. We got Eddie Rayman in the chat. What's going on, Ready? Said it twice. Eddie, how you doing? Pleasure to have you. So the recap from last chapter was all the kids' nightmares were being animated, and they have to figure out what the source of this is. So all the kids are asleep. The giants are freaking out. Nobody knows what's going on. And they're like, hey, don't touch the kids. And of course, Saul's like, well, we got to wake them up. So what's the big deal, right? And then he goes to wake up one of the kids and immediately learns his lesson the hard way. Speaking of getting boring, it's like we've seen it before on original. If you're talking about Kiyoshi, it is getting somewhat repetitive, but I want to talk about that after One Piece. I hope it isn't other reasons. Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. It seems like he's leaving on good terms. I would imagine that it is an insane amount of work to put that show together, especially like the spots they have to go to film. But at the same time, I feel like pulling out after one season is wild. Like, you would think if you're gonna take on a project like a TV show, you would want to stick through. You would want to stick through it for at least 3 seasons. It was concerning to hear it knowing how big a fan Matt is. Well, that's the thing, right? It's like there's got to be some kind of behind the scenes thing going on, because they paint this picture that like all the crew and like the behind the scenes stuff, it's like this great positive environment where everyone's just having fun and it's just happy sunshine and rainbows and hey, you know, One Piece. But if the director is leaving after one season, either there's some sort of creative conflict, like they're just not really seeing eye to eye, or something going on. Is there a reason? We don't know. He just said he wants to do other stuff. But I feel like that's kind of crazy to do. One, I feel like they had already, if I understand things correctly, they had already started season 2. So especially to leave in the middle of a season is even more puzzling. So if that's true, they left in the middle of a season, like before they even finish a 3rd season. Like if it was after season 2, I could understand that. But like one season, like one and done, doesn't make sense to me. Can't trust Netflix, especially Hollywood, Oscar, and game companies. Well, that's a separate issue, but I haven't heard too many bad things about Netflix in terms of how they treat their like movie teams or production teams. The only studio I know that is consistently notorious for bad treatment of directors, but mostly actors, is Paramount. I have only heard bad things about Paramount. For example, when they did or I don't even have to tell the story. Paramount. So Nickelodeon is Paramount, right? So any like Nickelodeon associated movie, that's Paramount. And basically all those like Nickelodeon live action movies have been a disaster. Like the Transformers stuff behind the scenes was a nightmare. And what's his name? Alan Richardson, the guy who is Jack Reacher. He was on the Ninja Turtles movie, and he said in an interview that the filming conditions were like the worst he's ever been in. Netflix messed up with Henry Cavill. Yeah, but I don't know if that was Netflix. Was that Netflix or was that just the director? Anyway, back to the One Piece chapter. All the kids are asleep. So all the kids are asleep. 9 of them are walking. Traveling down Branch Route 8. There's a fire. So keep in mind, while the kids are like freaking out, Loki is about to go on a rampage. So the God Knights are attacking and Loki is doing his thing. And of course, while this is going on, all the giants are all drunk. Amazon Prime has Ring of Power, which of course was whatever. Halo was awful. And then Wheel of Time? I didn't hear anything about Wheel of Time. So they have a firefighter team to go fight the fire, but then it gets attacked by some giant skeleton monster. So one of the God Knights, Saint Summers, he has the Thorn fruit. So the God Knights have an interesting plan. One of them is bringing the nightmares to life. The other one has these seemingly invisible thorns that he covers the kids in. Both showrunners, writers did Witcher live action. Hold on. I don't really follow that. They both worked on X-Men 97 and Naruto live action? I'd have to look that up. So the God Knights are talking about their plan to sort of cause disarray on Elbath. And they're like, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. This is going to be a slam dunk. A layup. And what's her name? The one God Knight with the bandages on her face is like, I saw a pirate ship. Luffy's here. We should probably be on our guard. Which I'm curious to see. I feel like it's the most hyped up aspect of this arc so far, and yet it's the least highlighted right now. Is the potential for Luffy to run into the Shanks' brother, or whoever he is. Henry Cavill. No, I understand Henry Cavill was on the Netflix's Witcher. Thank you. So Loki is threatening to kill Hyradine and Luffy and all them. He's like, look, you guys, you can let me go, or I can just beat the hell out of you now. So Luffy goes to attack Loki, but then Loki just passes out. But it seems like he's lost too much blood. So what's her name is doing a blood transfusion on him. They're talking about his horns, and they say they're a holdover of his ancient giant blood, just like his father, Harold. So now we're kind of fleshing out the dynamic between Hyrule and Loki. Because, of course, Hyrule is the illegitimate son of the late King Harold. Right? Harold? Whatever. Yeah, Harold. Loki is the illegitimate son. But supposedly Loki killed Harold, and that's why he's in the underworld. And Hyrule is like, I should just kill you now. You insulted my mother, you killed our father, and you're just generally not a good dude. And Loki is like, well, wait a minute, come on, you don't believe all that mumbo jumbo now, do you? And that's where we leave off. So hopefully One Piece isn't on break next week, because I'm kind of hoping that they do, that they flesh out this backstory between Loki and Hyrule, but we'll just have to wait and see. But One Piece was a decent chapter. I'd give it like a 6. Yeah. What is my opinion on Nolan? I don't know what you mean. Loki isn't that strong. He's a pre-Yonko Shanks victim. He seems pretty strong. I mean, everyone's saying like he's the strong. He's basically been propped up as like the strongest giant on Elbaf. Yeah, no, there's clearly, as Eddie is pointing out, there's clearly some kind of brotherhood rivalry going on, which I love. It's one of my favorite tropes. So I feel like it's got a lot of potential. Plus, I didn't really expect it, but this whole dynamic has a lot of potential, not just to flesh out Loki, but to really prop up Hyrule. Because Oda's been doing a nice job of fleshing out all of Luffy's, followers. So I feel like Elbaf might become sort of like a Hyrule arc. He lost to and got captured by Shanks. That wasn't a Yonko at the time and hasn't been trained in those 6 years. Chained up. Yeah, but it is One Piece logic, so could be, could not be. I don't know. I feel like he's strong. Anyway, so that's One Piece. I give One Piece like a 6. Ichi, I would say so far Ichi is chapter of the week. Out of the 3 chapters I've read. So I already read Kiyoshi. But I do want to talk about it basically. So last chapter, Kiyoshi got turned into a baby for some reason. And then Sosuke comes, finds him. He's like, why is Kiyoshi a baby? But he like baby talks him and pushes him on the swing. He gives him holy water. And the holy water is supposed to cure him of his baby sickness. Voice is very low. Let me try turning up the volume. Can everyone hear me okay? Alright. Hopefully I should be a little louder, but we'll see. Everyone just let me know how the audio is. Voice is way too loud? Okay. Alright, that should be okay now. I think the Holy Knights have a solid plan with the arrow and thorn combo for an escort and defense strategy to take the kids hostage. I mean, it seems like it, right? Okay, Eddie, thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, so I was talking about Kiyoshi. So Kiyoshi is turned into a baby Sosuke has to protect him and cure him of his weird baby condition. Josh says I can hear you. All right, awesome. So part of the problem with Kiyoshi as of the last 3-ish chapters is they did a really good job of hyping up this arc, and it is still early in the arc, but I feel like the last few chapters have kind of been samey in the regard of like it's kind of just the main characters flexing on these demon lords, and it's conflicting because on the one hand they did all just go through a training arc, so you kind of want them to be stronger. Plus it is like a big arc. It's like Kiyoshi's first proper big arc, so you do kind of want to see the characters get all kinds of new abilities. On the other hand, I feel like with the exception of the Jack Joe fight, all of the fights so far have been grossly one-sided. Like Kiyoshi was just killing a bunch of demons, and now with this previous exorcist, Mukurojima, he seems like he's just gonna get one shot by Sasaki, right? And then Sosuke did the same thing. Sosuke was just flexing on demons. So there's an issue of like no real tension in this arc. So like the powers are cool, but again, with the exception of the Jack Joe fight, this arc is kind of slow, I guess, is a good way to put it. But again, it's very early. I'm holding out hope still. I'm far from crestfallen, but Kiyoshi is sort of in a weird spot. So much so that I feel like before this arc, it was kind of neck and neck with Kiyoshi, or with Ichi the Witch, personally. And as of late, Ichi has consistently been far ahead of Kiyoshi. I think it's a real challenge with power scaling. I don't even think it's a power scaling issue. I think it's just like they propped up these demon lords, right? And then there was the head demon lord that absolutely embarrassed Kiyoshi. And then you get to the Black Parade arc, and they're kind of just speeding through these demon lords. So I hope the fights have a little more tension to them in the weeks to come. So far, it's kind of losing. It seems like it's losing a lot of people. I'm still invested because I like Kiyoshi that much, but it is kind of slowing down, so to speak. So that's really it for jump chapters. I'm behind on Sakamoto Days. I don't really read The Elusive Samurai anymore. I would like to read Himiten, but we're not going to do that today. Yeah. So let me ask everyone in the chat, where how would you rank the current lineup of Jump? I feel like we talked about this before, but I feel like it's kind of between One Piece, Ichi, and Kagurabachi. Hold on, excuse me. Sakamoto Days has its following, right? Like Sakamoto Days has its place. But, you know, Sakamoto Days is Sakamoto Days. Like, if you like it, great. If you don't like it, it's not really going anywhere. Kagurabachi is in a good spot. I feel like Kagurabachi has the same problem that I said like a week or two ago, where it's consistently good, but I feel like it's not really gaining a lot of new fans. Ichi the Witch continues to be like just back-to-back bangers, like consistently like 7 or 8 out of 10 are better chapters. Kiyoshi, like we just talked about, has been good, but it feels like it's slowing down. I think the real battle is between Ichi and Shinobi. Interesting. I haven't really seen too many people talking about Shinobi Undercover, but I will take your word for it. Liking Astro Royale these days? I'm like 10 chapters behind, but I haven't really seen too many people hyping it up, and there's been some talks of it being cut, so it's in a very, like, it's on thin ice from what I can tell. Akane Banashi is Akane Banashi. As much as I love that manga, I feel like at this point we're kind of just, you know, not that we're in the final stretch, but I do feel like we're just waiting for that manga to finish. I don't really know what the prospects of an anime look like at this point. I feel like with Akane Banashi, they're probably going to try to wrap it up around like chapter 200. Nue's Exorcist is an interesting one. It's on chapter 91, so again, prime time, sweet spot for an anime announcement. Blue box is blue box. The blue box is whatever. Star of Beethoven took such a nosedive. Like, it had some hype for chapter 1, and I don't think I've seen anyone talk about it since. Embers is interesting. I feel like I will rarely see people talk about Embers. But yeah, not really sure what the future of Embers looks like. Yeah, that's kind of it. I would say Jump is kind of dominated by One Piece, Ichi, and Kagurabachi. Although, I don't know. I would have to do some research on Kagurabachi, because I feel like Ichi the Witch is doing really good sales-wise. I can't speak to, the recent performance of Kagurabachi. I am curious to see what they do with Ruri Dragon, because Ruri Dragon is like still getting weekly chapters, but I don't really know what they want to do with that series. If I had to rank in terms of battle manga, I would say One Piece, Sakamoto Days, Kagurabachi, and Ichi the Witch. Shinobi Undercover and Kiyoshi are doing well, while Nue won that award and is starting a new arc. Beethoven is doing well. Yeah, Jump's not in a bad spot or anything like that. I mean, it's not like it's got Rent a Girlfriend or anything, but, you know, it's still good or whatever. What about trash series? Yeah, I'm not too sure what I would say is trash, besides maybe Blue Box. But you guys all know my stance on Blue Box. Let's see. What are we doing for time? Yeah, I am going to wrap things up short this week. Again, I'm behind on some manga, and Kagurabachi is on break this week. So that's really all I have to say. We will pick this back up tomorrow. I don't know what the topic of tomorrow's stream will be, but we will talk Dawn to Dawn at the very least. Besides that, look out for 2 new videos this week, and then a stream on Thursday to follow Dr. Stone and Marshall King. Anyway, that's going to be it. Thank you for the discussion. Great discussion as always.